It's official. Vince McMahon has lost his ever-loving mind. I'm Joe Rentham with my review of WWE Raw. It's Legends Night. And there were some good parts of the show. There were some parts I absolutely hated, including the ending. Can you imagine why I hated the ending? Because I'm afraid that Vince McMahon is going to do exactly what he shouldn't fucking do with the WWE Championship. I'll talk about that when I get to it. I do want to say, as far as using a lot of the legends, even though some of them were in quotations, because there were some that weren't legends, in my opinion, of course. At least they were using a lot of them in just like weird backstage segments, like they were all just hanging around and just talking like they were at like some Comic-Con or some Legends Fest, but that's okay. They were used as background noise, and they focused on a lot of other talent. Except they really were featuring Hogan quite a bit, because Hogan just has to hog the spotlight, like when we opened with Hogan being on the phone. Hey, you better call somebody because it's time for Raw Legends Night. But be careful what you say on camera, brothers. Yeah, don't, apologize for being a racist piece of shit and somebody that, had to be basically carried in a lot of matches later in his career and buried a whole lot of younger guys because he just doesn't understand why all the young guys are giving him the cold shoulder. Hey, Terry, it's not because people don't respect you for what you brought to wrestling. It's because you're a racist piece of shit. You didn't apologize for it, and nobody fucking respects you for that. Apologize, admit you were wrong, admit that it was the wrong goddamn thing to do, and fucking admit that you're a toxic individual that needs to change, but you won't do that. You'll never fucking admit that, will you, Hogan? Can we just trade him and bring back Randy Savage? Seriously, Randy Savage to the current wrestling landscape. He would be such a benefit. He would, impart so much wisdom. He would be so goddamn good because Randy Savage was always better than Hulk fucking Hogan. Yeah, so Hogan can piss the fuck off for all I care. And Miz TV becomes New Day Talks because we have Xavier and Kofi and Miz and Morrison doing really bad comedy. These guys are really good. These two are really good teams. They are. I may knock Miz as far as work, but him and Morrison do have good chemistry. And I don't know why they're making Morrison Mrs. Lackey again. We're going right back to 2007, 2008. But Kofi and Xavier are really good as well. This just didn't fire. There wasn't a lot of good comedy. And then Teddy Long comes out and decides to put them one-on-one with The Undertaker. Oh, wait, Undertaker's retired. Hey, how about we do a tag team match? Holla, holla, holla. And there we go. Teddy getting his last name just thinking about booking a tag team match. So we get that, and we get New Day versus Miz and Morrison. The match wasn't bad. I just ultimately didn't care because there were some of these matches that just kind of existed. That being said, as far as work, the work was what it was, and it was well paced. And Shining Wizard from Xavier, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that is what it is. Miz and Morrison were all distraught after Miz had gotten the Money in the Bank briefcase were, given back to him for some fucking reason because they're absolutely baffled that nobody is understanding. Hey, we're going to do something good with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Oh, are you going to maybe use it to get somebody over? Oh, no, you're not going to do that. You're just going to, mess with the whole goddamn thing. Yeah, that's pretty fucking stupid. They should just drop it. Drop it for the men, drop it for the women. Bring it back in 5 goddamn years. But anyway, we then get recaps of Orton and Alexa. 30 minutes in, we then get Charlie. Goddamn, Charlie Caruso looked really good tonight. So Sarah Schreiber, I love seeing those two on there because Charlie always digs into people and makes sure that she's just a fucking bitch with getting the answers that she wants. And I got to credit her for that. And she's talking to Randy Orton and says, what was going through your mind with Alexa? By the way, it's nice that WWE talked about this 30 minutes in and let us know that, hey, that little hook at the end of Raw, yeah, Randy didn't actually murder Alexa or set her on fire. So nobody got hurt. Nobody got burned. Just so we're cool. Yeah, maybe you could have opened the show with that so we knew that. But anyway, she's like, what were you thinking? He was thinking of setting a woman on fire, Charlie. I don't know what was so, hard to figure out about that. And then Orton says he wished he had listened to the voices. And then he starts targeting legends and calling them old men a lot. We then get Garza. He's the new 24/7 champion because 2021 just couldn't get away from that horrible championship. Alicia Fox is back there, and you know what? Good for Alicia Fox. I will say this. I do not believe she's a legend, and I want to explain why. Don't get up on me, Alicia Fox fans, because I'm glad that she overcame her alcoholism. That's a tough thing to do, and she deserves a world of credit for that because it's not easy to overcome. And she is a great athlete. She's only 34. She could be a benefit to WWE or AEW if she's still wrestling. I don't know if she still is. Obviously, the pandemic going on, I don't think she would be wrestling all that much, but she would be a benefit to either roster and has years to still contribute before achieving any kind of close to legend status, in my personal opinion. But again, credit to her for overcoming her alcoholism, because God forbid that has consumed a whole lot of people, and she is a better person for it. She's there, she brushes off Angel Garza, and then Sergeant Slaughter's there, Tatanka, who wanted a wall immediately built around Angel Garza, and Mickie James. Is Mickie James no longer part of the current roster? What the fuck's going on? I mean, she isn't. It's not like she can't wrestle anymore. I don't get it. We didn't get Styles with Omos or Amos. I mean, what? They keep changing people's names. So his huge bodyguard, just going to call him his bodyguard, versus Elias with Cracker Commander Riker. And I'm going to keep calling Jackson Riker that until he admits he's a goddamn idiot and he's a fucking coward. He kept running away from Styles' bodyguard because, oh no, he got all upset about the George Floyd protests and then got sent home for a while because he's a fucking idiot. Vince probably bonused him because he knows that Riker speaks for exactly how Vince feels, because he has to. I mean, come on. Let's be perfectly honest. Vince has donated a lot of money to you-know-who, and Riker's a fucking goddamn idiot who's been hit in the head one too many goddamn times. But no, Styles' bodyguard is around him, and he runs like the coward that he is, because he ain't tough. He ain't a tough patriot. He's a fucking coward, just like every single one of those people that support you-know-fucking-who. And almost doing a great goddamn job here. Styles is in the Rumble, by the way. He announced that on social media. Styles clashed for 3. And then Styles' bodyguard just scares Riker by just stopping the guitar shot. That was good shit. They're actually doing a good job with this guy. Put him in the Rumble. Have him go on a Diesel-like run. Don't, bring him along just like Diesel. Don't have him, win the championship later this year. But seriously, why not? They're doing the best they can with this guy. And he scared Riker. Hopefully scaring him back to whatever Crackerville he came from. And I can say that because I'm a white person. And I don't fucking care who it offends, because I'm not going to apologize. I'm almost 40. I don't give a shit about offending anybody, because guess what? Riker offends me as a human being. He's a fucking embarrassment. I hope his kids, I hope his wife leave him, and he dies alone and afraid. That's what he fucking deserves for being a toxic person. I don't care if I sound toxic. Fuck him, and fuck his parents for ever giving birth to him. Anyway, Charlotte is in the Rumble. Great, good. Let's bring Charlotte. Let me say right now, Charlotte's a great goddamn athlete. I don't give a fuck about, seeing her on my television. Do not have her win the Rumble again. We think it's Show and Orton. Orton is just berating Big Show, sitting down in a chair. And this made no sense. Orton's trying to be this dastardly heel after setting a guy on fire and threatening to set a woman on fire, and it was fucking weird. Charlotte and Asuka versus Peyton and Lacey. Okay, so we got Rick at ringside. Now, remember all that stuff that they did with Charlotte having Rick at her side, and then she got upset with Rick? Like, he kept interfering, and he would keep trying to kiss her opponents and stuff like that, like he did with Becky. Very uncomfortable. And he would keep interfering. She eventually told him off, and he left. Remember how they did that a few times, and now he's back at her side? Yes, for Legends Night, I get it. Well, this was awkward. Lacey, after getting slapped by Charlotte, just spears the fuck out of Charlotte, and that was really goddamn good. Asuka then getting repeatedly tag team from behind, which I actually enjoyed seeing. Peyton, I liked seeing in the ring here, because I think her getting a chance to shine in 2021 is key. Lacey tries to flirt with Rick. I hope she got hazard pay for that. Credit to Lacey. I wouldn't be able to resist. Now I know a lot of guys that would. And then Rick accidentally, causes a distraction. Charlotte gets, pinned, rolled up by Peyton. 1, 2, 3. And then Charlotte just yells at him. Tells him to get out. We're repeating the same shit we saw from like 5 years ago. It makes no sense. And then Drew and Sheamus talk. Hogan and Jimmy Hart show up. And of course, Hogan praises Sheamus, the whitest guy in the goddamn room. Because of course Hogan does that. Because he's a goddamn racist piece of shit that should not be forgiven until he apologizes for being a racist piece of shit. Anyway, Drew and Hogan talk about Keith Lee. Of course, Hogan targets the black guy. Because he would have to. Of course, he would do it when Keith Lee isn't there, because he wouldn't have the guts to say anything like that to anybody's face. This was bad. We get Riddle versus Lashley with MVP. Riddle taking advantage of a prone individual. Gee, that sounds a lot like Riddle. Apparently Riddle signed a new contract with WWE. If that is true, what the fuck? You like burning money. Riddle just doesn't have that much value. Good athlete, yes. Whether these allegations are true or not, I don't think the guy's worth the fucking investment. Even if they're not true. And then, it just wasn't that good. We get a weird thing where Lashley's the heel, Riddle's supposed to be the babyface, and they do the hurt lock thing, but Riddle gets sent over the referee, lifted over the referee, and then he's like, the ref's like out of position, so Riddle taps, but the ref doesn't see it. MVP sees it, like, what the hell are you doing? He tapped. And then Riddle hits him with the most devastating maneuver in all of professional wrestling. Surprise roll up, 1, 2, 3. What the fuck? Okay, cool. Who told Ricochet that shirt was a good idea? What was this? I mean, Ricochet obviously has made bad choices as far as friends. Chase and Rance, Marty Scurll. I want to say right now about Marty Scurll. Marty Scurll and Ring of Honor parted ways. Let me say right now, whether Marty Scurll goes to New Japan, whether he goes to WWE, whether he goes to AEW, this whole thing about Marty Scurll, like, oh, the age of consent is this and this in another country. I don't fucking care. And stop fucking defending people that are going to sleep with somebody that goddamn young when they're as old as Marty Scurll was. Seriously, I don't fucking care. There's love is love, and that's fucking sick. That would be sick whether it was a man and a woman and a man, a woman and a woman. Doesn't fucking matter. Age of consent, you can fucking kiss my ass. The age of consent laws, by the way, in other countries, fucking goddamn revolting. So anyway, Mark Henry's in a scooter. Apparently he has a leg injury. I hope he recovers. Maybe he was trying to carry too much water. So Orton then talks to him like Hogan wished he could talk to Mark Henry. And yeah, I'm going to keep taking shots at Hulk Hogan. And then he continues to berate him. And even though Mark Henry's trying to leave, Orton finally says, well, I'm going to give you this opportunity to leave. He was trying to leave already, Orton. You could have saved 5 minutes. Charlie then interviewing MVP and Lashley. And Lashley was upset about losing to Riddle, as you would expect. And then Shayna attacks Mandy. And then Dana takes her place. This match went a minute. And yeah, again, Shayna gets pinned by Dana. Why? And I got nothing against Dana. Dana's not great, but she's improved. I mean, couldn't have gotten any worse than she was. But why in the world is Shayna taking so many pins? Is she going to win the Royal Rumble and we're just trying to, knock her down a bit so she suddenly wins? Oh my God, surprising. And that doesn't mean anything. I don't fucking get it. And then she gets tag teamed by the two blondes afterwards. The sexy muscle friends, as Asuka said. God damn, I love Asuka, but what the fuck? And then we get Molly Holly looking absolutely goddamn great backstage. Seriously, Molly Holly, one of the nicest goddamn people in wrestling. IRS is also there. And then Orton then talks to Ric Flair and calls him an old man a lot. Because, the whole thing where Orton punted Rick, but didn't really punt him because we don't want Rick taking any bumps since he'd probably crumble in the dust if a slight breeze hit him. And then Riddle tries to encourage Keith Lee. This show, the more I think about it, actually got more. There was some good in-ring action, like Orton versus Jeff Hardy. Hide the screwdrivers. Oh, then later, Orton fingered Jeff's ear holes. And I'm going to keep mentioning Jeff's ear holes because if you finger another man's ear holes, man, you make a pact. So, Jeff Hardy, though, in his intro, what's up, Thunderdome? Jeff, they can't hear you. What the fuck is wrong with you, you goddamn doofus? And the Swanton on the Orton off the stage on that Raw in 2008, early 2008, before the Royal Rumble 2008 match between Orton and Jeff Hardy. That was about 13 years ago. 13 years ago to this day, I believe. Or soon, or close to it. Fucking goddamn hell. I was 27 years old. Anyway, Orton just loves fingering another man's holes. He just gets off on it, I guess, because, not only was he having golden showers during his entrance, but he was having a different kind of shower a little bit later. Because why not make this review as uncomfortable as possible? And then there was some good action. Jeff really should retire, though, this year. He can't really move all that well. RKO 1, 2, 3. Very beautiful transition from the Twist Fate counter into the RKO. That was very nice. Call back to the Royal Rumble 2008 match. And then we get Dorado and Metalik with Melina. She's a legend in women's wrestling, the same that I'm the descendant of a king from Egypt. Basically, that's the whole goddamn point. Melina is not a legend in women's wrestling. Melina's good. She's had good moments. But, man, if her NWA run taught us anything, she's fucking washed. But Father Time catches up with everybody. Doesn't mean she can't be an asset in, as far as a coach. Anyway, So the Hurt Business, Cedric and Shelton are already teasing tension with them versus Dorado and Metalik. Lucha Lit, and I'm out. Dorado pins Shelton. If you're going to say something like Lucha Lit, I am too old and too out of touch to believe that and care about it. And then they have Cedric upset at Shelton. Are we already teasing the split of the Hurt Business? You probably could continue this for another 6 months and maybe split them up around SummerSlam. Well, actually, it'd be about another 7 months, but you get my point. We then get Tori. Tori wants Garza away, probably wants a wall built around him because Tori Wilson is problematic as fuck. Just like Candice Michelle and Carlito, by the way, weren't there because Candice was at an anti-masker rally, probably. You know, goddamn idiot that she is. And I used to defend her, and I ain't gonna anymore. And I ain't gonna defend any woman that supports Trump because they're fucking idiots. Apparently, they don't care how men talk to them. And if you care how men talk to you, then don't support a guy that hates fucking women, you fucking morons. I could say the word. Maybe I'll just say third letter of the alphabet. Yeah, that's what you guys are. So anyway, she tries to get Garza away from, her talking to Nikki Cross and says, hey, Cardi B and Ariana Grande, I invited them here and they're in this room. And then the Boogeyman shows up. Boogeyman, by the way, who's in incredible shape in his mid-50s. I think he is about his mid-50s. He's getting close to 60. And just scares Garza, and then Truth pins him for the 24/7 championship. And then he skips away with Tori and Nikki Cross. It was like skipping away with a mannequin and somebody from the land of Oz. So, we then have, God damn it, whew, boy, Jesus goddamn. One funny part, though, one funny line from a legend. Ron Simmons shows up and does the damn, I can't do it like Ron Simmons. I'm going to pop every time that Ron Simmons does that because Ron Simmons, former WCW World Champion, All-American, great talent, and super tough guy. I'm always going to pop for that because there are certain stupid things I'll laugh at. The Legends then greet Keith Lee on the stage, and he, acknowledges Booker T, and he ignores Hogan. And that's what Hogan fucking deserves. He deserves to be forgotten and fade into dust, just like the rest of his stupid goddamn family. Linda, his ex-wife, that stupid, goddamn idiot, and Brooke, and his son, who apparently inherited the same racist views that his dad did. So, we have Lee versus McIntyre, WWE Championship match, and man, if only they had just ended with them having to show respect at the end. This is fucking fantastic. The ending killed it, though. And I'm not talking about the finish, I'm talking about the aftermath. Pounced over the barricade. Lee and McIntyre took this seriously. Lee was working more heelish, pounding down on McIntyre. And Drew selling his ass off, unable to breathe, just doing some great shit. But this one spot where he picks him up for a powerbomb, he doesn't quite make it, and Lee hits the corner of the collapsing announcer's table. Yes, set it to collapse, but still, Lee hit the corner. I thought he got knocked out. I thought they were going to come back and say Lee was knocked out, that he can't continue. But he was able to. Legends are still on the stage, by the way. Sitting, at least. All together. Human said to be together, if you will. Spanish Fly off the top by Lee for 2. That was impressive shit. Then we get a Claymore for 3. This is good stuff. Lee did not look weak. I was a bit surprised he lost clean. Thought Sheamus would interfere. And then the Legends are all celebrating. And then Goldberg's here. Fucking Goldberg. You know what? I don't care if he's goddamn signed to a contract. Credit to Goldberg for earning a bunch of goddamn money well past his sale date. Because let's be honest, by 2000 and even 2001, and I just got done watching WCW Sin 2001, Goldberg's last ever WCW match because of his career ending and he needed shoulder surgery. I respect the fact that Goldberg made the most of his career in WCW. And even the first run in WWE. And even his comeback in 2016. And then beating Kevin Owens for the Universal Championship I didn't care for. But him and Brock made up for Mania 20 with that Mania 33 4.5-minute match. Goldberg has no fucking business being in the goddamn ring. He says, well, you don't got no respect. You call all these Legends old guys. I want my shot at you. And then he shoves him to end the show. And the show literally cuts out right there. So no, if Vince McMahon gives Goldberg the WWE Championship, if you thought I turned red before in reviews, I will turn red with that. And if I'm going to knock AEW for bringing Sting in, yeah, WWE's like, hey, hold, it's like, AEW, we're going to have Sting come in. WWE, we're going to do worse. hold our beer, and we're going to make Goldberg the WWE champion. I hope not. I fucking hope not. Don't fucking do it. Don't fucking do it. If you do, just take the title and throw it in the trash. Goldberg has no business being champion in 2021. He had no business being Universal Champion in 2020. There's being a legend, and Goldberg for a time was a major deal and could qualify as Monday Night War legend. He doesn't fucking need to be in the goddamn ring any fucking more. It was fucking embarrassing watching him face off against Undertaker. Sure, he destroyed Dolph. Cool. Everybody beats Dolph. I think I beat Dolph at one point in a goddamn match. Drew McIntyre, even if Drew McIntyre hadn't lost to Randy Orton and had this dominant run from Mania, there is no way, there is no scenario where Goldberg beating Drew McIntyre will benefit the company. Vince McMahon is hitting the panic button because he's a fucking idiot, because he doesn't understand that if he doesn't push young talent and newer talent and feature them properly, then bringing back these legends, it's going to poison the nostalgia well, and you're going to just keep getting diminishing returns. You're going to keep getting a whole bunch of, like, you know, all these cliches, all this bullshit. You're not going to get any good benefit from bringing back these legends. And Goldberg, whether he's being paid a shit pot full of money or not, and credit to him for that, I don't want to see Goldberg in the goddamn ring. He was washed in 2003. I was 32 years old in 2003, by the way. We do not know. I was 22 in 2003. I'm not that goddamn old, but still, I was 22. We don't need to see Goldberg at, 51, 52. We don't need to see him in the goddamn ring. Anyway, yeah, that was a fucking bullshit ending. I'm going to bed. Agree, disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. Fuck off, Vince. See you soon.